a lot of teachers in our city school district, I don't care about the kids. I'm just gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. You know, so we have to really understand the dynamics of what's occurring and why we have these results, this graduation rate of 9% for black boys in our city school district. That's there for a reason. That's not by coincidence. It's happening because it's supposed to happen for those who write those policies and create the structure that your parents are in and that you guys are in right now too. But it doesn't mean that we don't have the capacity to break that cycle. We are geniuses, naturally. Natural geniuses. And what needs to occur is a system that supports that natural genius. And I'm talking about every single one of you. The genius that you possess. It needs to come out. And it can't come out through a systematic approach that's layered like this, where you have a teacher in the classroom teaching 30 kids one way.
Let me speak to that by saying that when we're talking about our parents, we're also talking about ourselves, because almost all of you are going to be parents. So we're having two levels of a conversation. And if we go back further, we're talking about all of our people. So as parents, whether you're talking about your own or the one you're going to be, the first criteria is that if you are in any school, the first criteria is that you learn about yourself, who you are. And in learning about who you are, you're going to also learn about who you are not. So that's where you begin. And if it's not being put in front of you on your desk, go look for yourself. What is being put in front of you is how to read and how to write. You can decide what to read and write about. So the point is agency. So when Mr. Fatah says that we are geniuses, go find out why he's saying that. He's not just making it up. So there's evidence. So you have to know where to look. But for those of you I talked to this morning, if you don't know where your ancestors came from, you don't know where to start. So when you go home tonight, you ask your parents, where did we come from before we came to Rochester? Where did we come from before that? When you find the beginning place, that's where you start your research. And there are no teachers in your school who are going to tell you that you can't do your research papers about yourself. They will support that. And if you don't get support, that's when you go back home, and then your parents know why they're coming to school.
I wanted to say this too before we move on. Smart people don't go to college. I'm going to say this again to y'all. Smart, look, let's look in the world, and the people who got the degree got the high-paying job. If you don't got the degree, you ain't gonna get up there. Those people make the rules and the policies. The rules and the policies create the problem. So smart people don't go to school. People with good habits go to school. I'm gonna say it again. People with good habits. See, you gotta study 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Do you have that habit? See, because that's a skill like shooting a basketball, like bowling. Do you have the skill to sit and study for 5 hours a day, 7 hours a day? Because that's what gets you through college, not being smart. I saw a kid take some wire and some magnets and make a lighter. I'm going to say it again. I saw a kid take a magnet and some wire and make a lighter in jail to light a cigarette. He was in jail. And he was 17. You missing my point. You missing my point completely. He's a genius. He just told you. See, he took the magnet. Who in their mind gonna take magnets and some wire and make a lighter? A genius. A genius. So what I'm saying is, your habits are gonna dictate where you go, your habits and your attitude. Now, if you walk in the halls for 5 hours, 6 hours a day, skipping, you are preparing to stand on the corner. It's a habit. You get where I'm going? Now, if you sit inside the classroom for 7, 8 periods a day, you're 45 hour blocks, you're training your mind for what? 8 hours of study. So you don't have to be that smart. You just got to have the right habits to pass the test.
So I just want to add to this. I could talk all day long about this. We could talk all day long about this. And I hope at some point we can have some extended discussion about this, because you can hear there are a lot of issues connected to the basic question that was asked. What is the role of mom and dad, mother and father, in the education of you? Right? That was the question. But you heard a whole bunch of issues that, if you're not listening carefully, you might say, they're all connected. This is a critical question. I want to peel back some layers, I guess. First, when we ask that question, it's important for us to acknowledge that there's an idealism, Brother Tyrone, and there's a realism. Now, we could talk, and we do say this in our community. We're quick to say this. It's the parents' first responsibility. The parents are the first teacher, right? Right. And that, especially the mother. We believe in that in our community. That's true. But is that reality? No. That used to be the reality. That's becoming more and more not the reality. So we got to deal in reality and realism. We got to deal with what we're faced with. So you got people in our community who will say, if the parents are not engaged and involved, then what do you expect me to do? You got educators who say that. And I say, I expect you to do something. If you ain't gonna do nothing, give your paycheck back and go home. Let's do something. Let's figure out systemically what to do to support the young people. Right? That's the reality that we got to deal with. And then those same people will turn around and say, what? It takes a community. The same people who will spew that rhetoric will turn right around and say it takes a village. So we got to deal in realism. Listen, indeed, the first criteria, as Dr. Goodwin said, is knowing self. Yes. Remember, I went to the table, somebody asked me, I said that's the essence of knowledge. It's self-knowledge. But now listen, I support the advice that Dr. Goodwin gives. If it's not being put before you, go examine, go for yourself, go find it, go search, right? But I'm telling you something, I got a problem with the fact that it's not being put before you. I got a problem with that. That's a system that's out of whack. When you got sometimes 100% children of color studying the history, the culture, the achievements of everybody except themselves. That's a systemic problem. And that's how it needs to be solved. We need to approach it like it's a systemic problem. It's going to need a systemic solution. Remember I mentioned that? Yeah. Speaking of systemic problems, let me tell you something that's not setting well with me at all. I just discovered it over in the corner. We got some students in this room, we don't even know what we're talking about. They don't speak the language. They don't even know what we're talking about. In this room, what kind of education? What kind of enriching educational environment is this when we got students in the room who don't know what we're talking about? That's a systems problem. That's certainly not blaming you or anybody in this room. But that shouldn't happen. So I'm just saying to you that there's some things, in my view, that are not acceptable. It's your responsibility. I don't let you young people out the hook. Go do it. Go find the information if you really want it. But at the same time, let us all collectively fight for systemic change.
Okay, that is all true. I'm sorry, we don't have time for a third question, but we do have time for another comment. No, please respond.
Well, I just wanted to say, I'm Garrisman, but just going back to the original question, for those of you who don't have parents, because the majority of the work that I've done has been working with individuals who are parentless or who may have parents who have had issues, whether they be mental health or habits that keep them away, or they were given up for adoption for a variety of reasons or whatever. So for those of you who don't have parents, they're talking about structuralized and institutionalized racism. So we're going to focus on the resilient bunch of you who don't have parents but come to school anyway. I commend you. For those of you who have parents who have issues that may not be as supportive, I think that you aren't alone in that journey, but we come to school anyway, and thank you for that. But the goal for you guys is to find mentors, such as the individuals who are around this table, to support you on your academic journey. We know that New York State is now the first state in the country who will be giving away free tuition. So guess what? You all can go to Buck State, well, you all can go to school for free. It's so important for especially people of color, but any color, not just focusing on people of color, but anybody who is impoverished. It's so important for us to take advantage of education. And you don't recognize it until because you're young and y'all feel like y'all gonna live forever, and some of this conversation is over your heads. But right now, where you guys are at, this is the most valuable experience. This is like the New York State lottery for you guys if you take advantage of it and if you work it right. And for those of you, like I said, who don't have those family supports, it's really important that you find somebody that you feel is in your corner and that can support you and push you the majority of the way, whether it's spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially, whatever it may be. Find somebody that you can hold hands with, because you know what? When we all hold hands, right? We're not related, but if we need to get from this end of the room to the other, it's easier if we all hold hands to get to that room, to the other side of the room, than if we walk separately, right? So that's what that community needs to look like for individuals who don't have parents necessarily in the home, or who don't have parents who are, they may be there, but they're not there for a variety of reasons. And I just want to let you guys know that there are supports out here for you. There are individuals who are looking to support individuals just like you. So seek those individuals out, and because it's a hard thing. I'm from 14621, I call it the true. Hey, I am a product of the Rochester City Schools. I don't think I did pretty well for myself. I can always do better, but I live in this community. I'm from this community. I work in this community, and I want to give back to this community. So it's important that you look for individuals like me and like the ones that's at this table to support you.
Okay.
People who lifted me up. Single parent household, low income, learning disabilities, special education. The list goes on. But because of the folks that who've had an impact in my life, I'm where I'm at today. Sitting next to my teacher.
And it was a surprise. For me, my strength comes from my father, my parents both, my ancestors. I think the common denominator for that is truth. Knowing the truth means knowing how to move, how to respond, how to act. It's a strength. And the truth will never hurt you. And it is also the insulator from fear. So the truth makes you fearless. And when you are fearless, you can think. You cannot be afraid and think at the same time. So once you know the truth, and that comes sometimes from intellectual knowledge, but most often it comes from heart knowledge, then you are insulated. It is like biological and spiritual armor. And you can function, and you can lead, and you can love without reservation any and everybody.
For me, my strength comes from certainly from my family and from the example that my parents especially provided as I was growing up and continue to provide today. They've shown me how to maintain and to thrive even in the face of recognizing that I have a choice about to act or not to act. That experience is what enables me to do what's right in the moment. So my parents, my family, my own life experiences, those are all factors in my personal strength.
I'm jealous, right, because this student acknowledges his teacher. My student won't acknowledge it. That's how it goes. You do all right.
Guys, wait.
But that's,
Wait, are we leaving?
All right, so we're sorry, they're trying to move during the bell. Hold it, we're not done yet. We have about 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Oh, no. We still have behave.
Yes, we're not leaving yet?
All right.
I don't feel like leaving.
So the good news.
Don't leave them, boy. Stay here.
Class, bell rings. 5 minutes, ladies, we promise. We want to hear what is the rest of our guests' strength, and then we want to thank them and say goodbye properly. So hold on.
the creator, S.C. May and Howard Eagle, Lizzie Johnson, Calvin Eagle, my parents, my grandparents, and as somebody said, a couple of people said already, the ancestors. So we're talking about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and Ida B. Wells and Sojourner Truth and Nelson Mandela and Winnie Mandela, and the list goes on and on. But I want you to think about ancestors abstractly. We actually do stand on their shoulders, and they have a lot to teach us, even from the grave. Thank you for letting me be part of this. Appreciate it.
Should we clap?
Well, this is a common thing that's going around this table, and it's called interdependence. None of us are who we are without someone that fed to us. We cannot, and the reason I'm saying this is because a lot of people say they're independent. There's no such thing as independence. There's no such thing as independence. We all depend on something, somehow, someway. So interdependence is what gives me my strength, also my spirituality. My system of spirituality is called Ma'at, and that gives me morality, a value system, truth, justice. It pushes me. And also the resilience that I built over the years because of these experiences that I had as a youngin'. These things that occurred in my life, they were very traumatizing, but they built me to become the man I am today. And quite to be frank, it gave me a competitive advantage in the field that I'm in. Because of those experiences, I have first-hand experiences that feeds my academia and feeds my scholarship. So this is who I am. I consider myself a strong individual. Also, what gives me my strength is my heart of being an activist. I have to stay active in a change agent. That's in me.
For me, it's real simple. My strength came from a missing father. I didn't see my dad until I was about 17.
Damn.
And so, in missing him, it turned me into a seeker.
Ram me your elbow.
So, it wasn't something that became negative. It was something that I guess I sort of morphed it into something that was positive. So, in him not being there, and me seeing the other factors that revolved around me, like, don't get me wrong, I got strong women, strong grandparents.
Oh,
A matter of fact, even though my dad was missing, I saw his mother every week. So
Fucking
that
legs up.
helped me become that seeker and a seeker of knowledge. From that, you know, let me give you an example. By the time I was 8 years old, I realized that Jesus Christ was black. And I realized this from reading the Bible with my great-grandfather and doing an experiment. The Bible got experiments in it. And it says about Jesus and his flesh, you take brass and you burn it. So as a little kid, I actually burnt the brass. Went and I set a fire and I put it in there and I wanted to see because his hair is like lamb's wool. So, you know, in doing all of this, and it turned me into a seeker of knowledge. When I started reading about George Washington, it didn't settle with me. It just didn't sound right. Come to find out that John Hanson is the first president of the United States, and he was a black man. You see what I'm saying? When your button is turned on, as Dr. Goodwin said, you find out who you are. See, my dad was missing. That made me want to know who I was.
Hell yeah.
You mean to tell me you want to miss out on love or something like this? So I had to find out who I was. And that's what it started.
Okay, so we're going to close. Only the foolish would think that wisdom is something to keep locked in a drawer. Wait a minute, I think some people are not hearing me right now. Excuse me. Only the foolish would think that wisdom is something to keep locked in a drawer. Only the fearful would feel empowerment is something best kept to oneself or the few and not shared with all. Rashid Ogunlawi, I think I'm trying my best to pronounce that name correctly. Sai, you have something for us?
It isn't easy to rearrange your time. We are truly appreciative that you did that for us. We are going to use the information you shared with us to further think about the way that we identify ourselves and how we will identify ourselves within our community. Thank you again for coming to IAT.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, please, this is for Mr. Brooks to dismiss you by class. All right.